singing and lyricist journey, I was always sharing that there was a message behind what I had to say and what I was singing about. And a lot of that had to do with where I was coming from in terms of hardship of life, having to carry that through music. I understood that there was messages and movement and inspiration in what I wanted to sing about with my voice. I remember at a young age, maybe as early as 8 years old, like a dial tone and even the different types of sound of pushing the numbers on the phone. Sometimes when I spoke as a child through the telephone and even as an adolescent, the tone of my voice would respond to the phone if I was holding up the receiver and speaking to it while the dial tone was there. It would interrupt the signal as if it were a frequency of a number that would be pushed. That sound and frequency and my voice, there was something different. When I was 10 years old, my parents knew that I had some kind of interest in singing and encouraged my abilities to perform in front of family. So I would get over my shyness. Because of my cultural background, karaoke was somehow accessible to us in the 80s and or early 90s. So to continue nurturing my gifts, my father put me into training, which was through the Conservatory of Music. And I did that for many years. And that gave me the platform and opportunities to perform in front of audiences. And at that time, I was the age of 11 or 12, still learning myself, still learning what it was to be a performer and how to use my voice in a way that was impactful. However, I had always known once I started performing in front of an audience that my voice did carry a different frequency and vibration. And what I now recognize it to be is a heart voice. I really honor that part of my gifts as being sacred. As I was continuing my journey with music and my voice, I remember that friends and colleagues of mine who were in the music industry or musically creative would make jokes because I was performing so much in karaoke settings. In the Filipino communities in North America are quite different than what is in Asia. They weren't rooms, it was big bar scenes and a stage, and you basically controlled the environment by performing on the stage in front of everybody. And those friends would joke with me about how I was a karaoke singer. And by no means did I feel that that was true, because a very big part of what I was longing to become and evolve to was an artist who was a live performer with a band. So I struggled with that for many years. even until recently, having to really accept the medicine that I'm carrying, and also the medicine that I've been receiving from the divine, and really being able to honor my journey with all of my life experiences. Once I was around, I'd say 14, I joined an a cappella R&B singing group within the GTA, Scarborough in particular. And that taught me a lot. I was able to meet a lot of artists who have made a name for themselves currently. And even the people that I surrounded myself with in high school, elementary school, they are all very successful musicians and artists. So through this singing group, I was able to learn how to pick up harmonies and how to understand the dynamics of being in a group of females. And at some point we did have male vocalists sing with us. And it really trained my ear in how to pick up harmonies. I progress in my singing journey. I grew up listening to a lot of what my parents were listening to, which was Michael Jackson, the Jackson Fives, Roberta Flack, Paul Anka, Bread, the Eagles, the list goes on. And for those of us who have listened to that kind of music growing up, inspiring change. And they also had stories to share, a revolution for humanity to stand together or to feel joy together. Their music and the message and power of music could create a movement, could create a revolution. Resonance and messages that these songs were medicine of the music that has come out within previous eras, like the 60s, the 70s, and the 80s,